Hello and welcome to another episode of Rico'S Rants. I'm your host, Rico DiGiorgio. Alright, so little change of pace, little change of theme. We're gonna review a movie that honestly you have to be a fan of the director to really appreciate it. And I really stress that. Now, bear in mind, when I saw this movie, I was a kid. And I hate to say it, but it's kind of a kid's movie. And that's why I don't think a lot of adults liked it. Because the movie is Robin Hood Men in Tights, directed by Mel Brooks. No, come back. Like, let's talk this out, guys. Come back. Okay, so I have to talk about it because I did just watch it, and it's still funny to me. Like, yeah, I had more fun watching it when I was a little kid. When I mean little, I don't mean like 2, but I mean I was like 7. I mean that's still young for a lot of the really mature jokes that are in this. My dad sort of just put whatever was on. I mean, he thought it was funny, so I watched it with him. And the fact that he was laughing his ass off, and he's not a big laugher, really, made me really curious of why is this funny. Now, granted, this is not my dad's favorite movie, not in any stretch of the way. But it made me really want to find out why it was making him laugh. And I admit, to get on my dad's good graces, I did laugh with him, even though I didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. Then a little while later, I kept rewatching it, and then I started understanding it. I also have 2 older brothers. They had fun turning me into the man that I am today. I'm sure they regret it in some areas. And my dad, definitely, like I said, whatever he was watching is what I would watch. He was never, oh, Rico, close your eyes, don't watch this. He was never that guy. Which confused the hell out of me for a lot. So, is this a perfect film? No. Is it the most funny movie you've ever seen? No. But it's a movie that I love. But it's also a movie I really don't love that much as I just love Mel Brooks. Which is what I was talking about earlier. If you're a fan of Mel Brooks and you can accept that he's made some duds, then you can still appreciate it. Not all jokes are going to hit. Some are repeats of his earlier stuff, like the jokes and material. But, it just makes you kind of be like, yeah, okay, that was from Spaceballs. Okay, that was from High Anxiety. Whatever. Still, I have to review this movie in part because there's one part in this film that gets me chuckling, gets me laughing uncontrollably, snorting ridiculous mirthing laughter every single time I watch it. Like, I wheeze, I get a high-pitched squeal. There's a part, and I won't even ruin it. I won't even ruin the subtext of it. But there's an abbot, which I guess was a sort of priest back in medieval times, played by Dick Van Patten, who was a frequent collaborator with Mel Brooks. He was in High Anxiety. He was the Jewish princess's father in Spaceballs. And he's walking down through a crowd, and they're all saying, "Good morrow, Abbot. Good to see you again, Abbot. Hello, Abbot." And he's nodding his head each time, just sort of gracefully walking through. And then there's this fucking fat guy who goes, "Hey, Abbot!" Oh my god, I fucking die every single time. So much so, I remember watching this on VHS. Yeah, VHS, way back when. Although I still have all my VHSs. Watching this with my dad, and him gut bustingly laughing and saying, rewind it, rewind it. So we rewound it like 30 times, just that one part, pissing ourselves laughing. You have to understand the context of what that means to me. I'm 7 years old. I'm with my father. We're watching one of the worst Mel Brooks movies ever. And he's referencing a joke about a comedy troupe that normally most 7-year-olds don't know about. No one at that age knows who the fuck Abbott and Costello is, really. But my dad put a lot of Abbott and Costello in front of me, and I became particularly in love with their humor, and they're in love with slapstick and 50s humor, and particularly Abbott and Costello, Charlie Chaplin, W.C. Fields, Buster Keaton, all of them. But Abbott and Costello in particular. So when that scene came on, I got it. I understood why it was funny. I was so young, I thought that was Costello. I was like, fuck, he looks great for his age. But then I grew up and I was like, oh, it's just a guy who looks and sounds like him. That was the funniest thing ever. Okay. So I can't really review a movie and talk about details when the majority of the film is all puns and slapstick and quick jokes and everything and, expressions, that kind of thing. But I'll give you a quick rundown. Robin Hood, played by Cary Elwes. That's how his name is pronounced, apparently. If you don't know who that is, rewatch Saw and The Princess Bride. He's that guy. He was also in Liar Liar. What the fuck happened to Cary Elwes? Anyways, in this, he's a good Robin Hood. He's not the best, but he very much channels the Errol Flynn look. He's got the British accent, which they talk about. At one point they say, why should we listen to you? Because unlike other Robin Hoods, I can speak with a British accent. Which is a joke and a spoof and a jab at Kevin Costner for Robin Hood Prince of Thieves. The joke being, everyone else in Prince of Thieves is either British or desperately trying to do a British accent. And he just said, fuck it. And didn't even try. He just spoke in his very obviously American accent. Oh, Robin Hood, how you doing? I'm alright. How are you? What the fuck? Anyways, so Cary Elwes is good in this. He looks like Errol Flynn. He sounds like Errol Flynn. Well, that sounds like Errol Flynn. What the fuck does Errol Flynn sound like? He sounds like... That's what he sounds like. That's all I got for Errol Flynn. I don't think I've ever seen an Errol Flynn movie, actually. Anyways. So yeah, he's got some comedic timing in this. Dave Chappelle is in this. I'm pretty sure this was Dave Chappelle's first movie. And you could see the comic timing and presence rising. I mean, he is very young. He looks 19 in this. And he's got, you could see the beginning of a star. I don't know if he improvised any of his material in this film or if he just stuck with what Mel Brooks wrote for him. I'm sure Mel Brooks was like, have a little fun. Go ahead. I don't know. Amy Yazbek, who was in another Mel Brooks movie, Dracula Dead and Loving It, which, again, is a guilty pleasure of mine. I mean, I love all Mel Brooks. I love it all. I'll watch anything with Mel Brooks. The day Mel Brooks dies, I will probably cry all day. Just like with Don Rickles passing, the world got a lot less funny. Same with Robin Williams. I mean, these guys are legends. These guys make me laugh. Still, I can rewatch all their films and rewatch all their routines, and I will continue laughing with tears coming out of my eyes each time. Mel Brooks is certainly at the top of my list. I always had a theory that there's two types of people. There's people who love Woody Allen films, and there's people who love Mel Brooks films. Very different, very, Jewish self-deprecating comedians with zaniness. Woody Allen's more intelligent and dry, although I'm not a fan of Woody Allen, but I can at least appreciate he is a filmmaker. Mel Brooks was, let's have fun. I mean, is he a talented filmmaker in any way? Not really. The Producers is entertaining. History of the World Part 1 is funny as hell, but Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles are always up there for the high number for comedies. He is a pioneer for comedy. I mean, he's up there with Chaplin, to me, and no one really gets better than Chaplin. No, not much. And he's still full of life. I mean, he's old as shit, but he's still very loud voice, very theatrical, and he's, singing and slower than usual, but hey, man. Mel Brooks is in this movie. He plays Rabbi Tuckman as opposed to Friar Tuck. Whatever. He performs circumcisions, and the boy's like, what are circumcisions? Like, oh, the ladies love it. Oh, okay, I'll take 2. And then he gives him a demonstration. He's got a little guillotine and a carrot. He puts the carrot in and snips it. And like, ooh, I got mine last week. I don't need one. There's a lot of Jewish humor in this. It's zany. It's funny. He's speaking in Yiddish. Who else is in this? Richard Lewis, who when I was a kid, I thought Jon Stewart was Richard Lewis. They look a lot alike. They could certainly be brothers. It's weird. He plays Prince John. And so Robin Hood goes back to England after fighting the Crusades for King Richard, played by Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart is a great cameo in this. He does not age. God damn, he looks exactly the same. He's got a goatee and he looks good in a crown. Fuck. And he goes back and he finds out that Rottingham, as opposed to Nottingham, has been taken over by Richard's little brother, who sort of dominates England, essentially, or Rottingham, and is taxing everyone and just abusing his power. He's got a bunch of sidekicks, and they do the what hump routine with a mole. He's always got a mole moving around. Tracy Ullman plays a sort of witch for him. Ugly shrew of a woman. Trying to think of. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing someone else or a couple. I'm sure I'm missing a lot of other people. Robin Hood has Dave Chappelle as a sidekick, part of his Merry Men. Mary. And he also has his loyal butler named Blinken, who's blind. So jokes like that. Alright, I mean, honestly, the only reason why I wanted to talk about this movie was because of that bad part. I mean, there's a lot of Robin Hood jokes. There's a lot of, like, when he he's got a bunch of arrows and he pulls them back and they all shoot at one guy and pin him to a tree. There's some jokes that are not funny at all. Some of them actually still confuse me to this day. I'm like, why is this funny? Don't understand why this is funny. In particular, there's a scene where a young kid is screaming and running from the sheriff of Rottingham and all his men, and he gets up to the camera, which is the POV of Robin Hood and his merry men, and he goes, ah, ah, and then I guess it's a spoof for Home Alone, but it's like really weird joke. And even now I'm just like, that's the one joke that just fucking sucks. And then when they get rid of the sheriff and his men, they all gallop away. He's like, all right, thanks, I appreciate it. Ah! And then runs the fuck away, running like this. It's just like, even Robin Hood's like, what a fucking weird kid. And that's all I was like, yeah. The fuck is that, Mel Brooks? Why'd you write that shit? Yeah, I mean, there's not much I could say. Do you gotta go out and see it? Not really. I liked it. I liked it. I rewatched it. It's probably been my umpteenth time watching it. I meant to tell you who Amy Asbeck plays. She plays Maid Marian, and one of the subplots is she has a chastity belt. So, Robin Hood has a key, which is supposed to unlock the greatest treasure in the land. 2 clues what the fuck that could be, huh? So yeah, you don't have to go out and see it. It's not one of his classics. It's one I like. I could give less of a fuck if you watch it. But for the sake of it, I'll give it 2.5 stars. Enjoy it if you watch it. Love you guys. Ciao.